Okay, everyone. So Nick Khan gave us some insight into what Raw is going to look like when it's on Netflix. So this is what he said today. There's some online chatter about how it's going to be R-rated or for us old folks, X-rated. That's definitely not happening. It's a family-friendly, multi-generational, advertiser-friendly programming. It's going to stay that way. The countries outside of the United States are as important to us as the United States are. We have certain targeted countries that are priorities for Netflix. They are priorities for us. You're going to see more of that. All right. So obviously, this is just, little snippets of things he said today. But the key is that he's saying it's not going to be R rated. And so, that kind of got some fans online a little bit upset because they were hoping that WWE would be making a tonal shift when it moved over to Netflix. I'm of the belief, and we did a video on this. Eric Bischoff, I think, just had a genius take on this, where he talked about how, look, when you move over to Netflix, he kind of warned WWE to be careful because when you move over there, if you think now we're going to be whatever, we're going to change what we're doing, we're going to be back to the Attitude Era type deal, that if you go too far, you're going to hurt your product just to be edgy for the sake of being edgy. And I think people are going to be upset about this. Maybe they're going to overreact a little bit to it, or maybe it's going to end up they were right and it's going to be a bad product because it's going to be PG. But I think if the product remains where it is right now, how WWE is right now, I don't think that's actually going to be um, a bad thing. I love the Attitude Era. I think the Attitude Era is the best wrestling ever. And I wasn't alive for some of, the old wrestling way back in the day. I was alive for the Attitude Era, but the Attitude Era was just I loved it. I loved every second of it. But you can't recreate it. You can't take what the Attitude Era did and turn it into, oh yeah, let's recreate that. You can't do it. It has to be natural. And so I think the product we have now, is it the Attitude Era in terms of I still don't think it is. There was just something about just even the Raw is War set, how it was just like there was just something about it that made it so great. There was just something that you can't recreate. And I think if WWE thinks that we need to be more edgy to be like the Attitude Era, I think they're completely missing the boat. Listen, uh, during the Attitude Era, WWE was, sure, were they making a conscious change in product? Did they make the characters more real and have edgy storylines and all of that stuff? Yeah, that happened. But there was so much other stuff that was going on that was so good. I think when you boil it down to the Attitude Era was successful because it was edgy, you miss it. And honestly, I don't think when you look at the roster in WWE right now, which is as talented as it's been probably since the Attitude Era, or at least quite some time, I don't think this roster needs that style. I don't think this roster would do good in that kind of environment. I just think that environment worked for the people they had on that roster. And I think what WWE is doing now is fantastic. It's a good product. Now, if they start dumbing it down further and, making it basically really PG like it became after the Attitude Era, so you had the Attitude Era, then you kind of had that ruthless aggression era, and then you have the PG era after that. Sure, if you, and I kind of put a lot of even the ruthless aggression era, that kind of, the Attitude Era and the ruthless aggression era for me kind of go together in a way. Not that they're the same because they're not. The Attitude Era had different stars than the ruthless aggression era, but they were both kind of the edgier style content. And then the PG era, and that PG era was legitimately bad. Because it just wasn't exciting to watch. I don't think anybody thought it was exciting to watch. But now I think they found a happy medium. And, is it, like I said, personally, it's not what the Attitude Era was. I don't know how you can ever recreate that again. It has to happen naturally, but it's still, to me, it's not. But that doesn't mean this isn't a great time. This doesn't mean WWE isn't full of talent. It doesn't mean WWE isn't putting on great events and great shows and just doing all of this great stuff. So I understand why a lot of people may be upset by this, hoping that maybe they were going to go to the R rated or to be a little bit more edgy. But as long as WWE keeps it at where it is right now, this amount of kind of blood and edgy stuff and all of that, I think it'll be fine. It's not going to be, always up against that line like there was with, the Attitude Era, but certainly it's still going to be fun to watch. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Maybe you completely disagree with me, but I don't think it's time yet, at least, to freak out about anything.